Welcome back, and I have a question for you. Have you ever wondered what is the best shoot 'em up of all time? Well, fear no more, because my friends Tight White, Chris Miller, and Blast Mode 7 have taken it upon ourselves to determine what is the best shoot 'em up of all time. Now, the way this is going to work is there is going to be 128 games, and it's going to be broken up into 4 different groups. So each one of us will have 32 games to review and give you our thoughts as to what is the best shoot 'em up in our collection, and then narrow that down into the best shoot 'em up of all time. So first and foremost, I have to show you what games I have here. I have a total of, I believe, 50 games here that I'm going to show you, and we're going to narrow these down to 32. So let's get started. We're going to start with the NES. Now I have 7 games on the NES. The first one here is 1942. Next up is 1943, Galaga, Xevious, Life Force, Tiger Heli, and last but not least, Twin Cobra. Now moving on to the Xbox 360. That system does have quite a few shooters. I got 4 here to show you. First one here is Aki Katana. Next up is Death Smiles, Optimus Excellence, and last but not least, strong contender Raiden 4. Moving on to some one-offs here. I do have Xevious Avenger on the GBA. On the Wii, my one and only entry here is Castle of Shikigami 3. Moving on to Sega Master System, again only one entry here is Cloudmaster. Next up, again, only one in this collection on the GameCube, Ikaruga. My one and only Super Nintendo game, it's going to be Super R-Type. Again, one off again. Sega CD is Sylphied. And believe it or not, I do have one on the PSP. It is the Gradius collection, and this has 5 games on it. It has Gradius 1, Gradius 2, Gradius 3, Gradius 4, and Gradius Gaiden. Next up, moving on to some of my stronger shoot 'em up collections, is my Sega Genesis. I have 9 games here to show you. First one up is Biohazard Battle. Next up is Fire Shark, Insector X, Lightning Force, Subterranea, Twin Cobra. Strong entry I think is going to be in this one is Troubleshooter, Thunder Force 2, and last but not least, another strong shooter, Thunder Force 3. Now moving on to the PlayStation 2, I have Mobile Light Force 2, Castle of Shikigami 3, and last but not least, I do have a bunch of compilation discs here. And I'm going to have to cheat on this one because there's quite a few on this, so I'm going to have to read off my phone here. First one here is Taito Legends. And Taito Legends has Darius Gaiden, G. Darius. It has the arcade version of Insector X, and it has Raystorm, one of the games that Jeff McKenzie has sealed and he doesn't want to open up, so I have it here. Next up is Capcom Classics Collections 2, and this one here has 1941 Counterattack, Echo Fighters, Last Duel, Sidearms Hyperdyne, and Varth. Moving on to Capcom Collections 1, and this one has the arcade versions of 1942 and 1943. This also has 1943 Kai, which is basically a remake of 1943. This has X's, Legendary Wings, Section Z, and Vulgus. And last but not least, the Neo Geo Arcade Classics Volume 1, and this has Last Resort on it. So in total, I have about 50 games here. What we got to do next is narrow this down to 32 games and then figure out what is the best shooter in my collection. What will happen then is we will take the best 4 shooters of everybody's collection and determine what is the best shooter of all time. So that is it for now. Hopefully you enjoyed. And until next time, take care.